Hello, everybody. Welcome into the PGR Thursday Night Heat Series live at Talladega Superspeedway. Joining me back in the booth tonight. Haven't seen him in a couple weeks, but co-host Matthew Baker. Baker, how you doing tonight?
What's up, man? Doing good. Just got back from Hawaii. Really grateful for this community that we have here, and glad to be back and calling this and broadcasting it and doing this race control. I've been excited for these Thursday nights.
All right, well, here we go. As we head down trackside, let's get things kicked off with the usual pre-race ceremonies tonight. We'll start with the race info here for what we're looking at. Actually, we'll get to this in just a moment, as it looks like SDK was giving me just a little bit of trouble before we started. We'll get that fixed right there. All right, so taking a look tonight at your race info. It's going to be 60 laps. Everybody is going to have 60% fuel, so a little bit more than what we saw last week. That'll change strategy up just a little bit, but about the usual format. Unlimited tires, 1 fast pair, fixed setups, 3 green-white checkers. Weather outside, 66 degrees, 49% humidity. Partly cloudy skies, winds at 5 miles an hour, and track temp. We know now, Baker, the last 2 weeks the teams have gotten to pick it, and they chose 66 as the starting track temp here tonight. Or excuse me, yeah, starting track temp, so we'll have to see how things all work out. They actually chose the outside temperature, but it looks like track temp is going to be a similar number. So anyway, as we move in to your starting grid, it's going to be Alex Hill for NBG on the pole. John Ward to his outside in second. Ken McCall Jr. from McCall Motorsports in third. Andrew Navarro back in fourth. Kyler Wynn, Sean Corbett going to be making up row 3. Steve Corset, Cody Nagels in row number 4. It's Jeff Merck in ninth. Nash Brambilla for Team PGR rounding out your top 10.
And in 12th, sorry, just getting everything sorted out here. And 11th, we got Zachary Lehman. 12th, we've got John Mollahan. David Sheets in 13th. 14th, Jared Miller. Michael Triscaro in 15th. Harrison Whitehead, I haven't seen that name before, in 16th. 17th, Danny Eshelman. Devin Ray in 18th. 19th, Joey Doucette. And 20th, Ed Osborne.
Dustin Carruthers will start 21st. Michael Menchaca to his outside in 22nd. Jason Maines, Chris Blanchard make up row number 12. John Darnell, Sierra Clampert making a return tonight. They will make up row 13. Logan York in 27th. Ryan Bass back in 28th. Mark Vondell 29th. And Mike Davenport, another Team PGR driver, rounding out top 30.
31st, you got Ron Morris Jr., Rhett Tucker in 32nd. 33rd, Daniel Diorio, another name we haven't heard before. 34th, Zachary Dowse, good to see him back out here. Nathan Raj, 35th. Tony Cox, 36th. William Ranson in 37th. Dylan Jones, 38th. Chris Parkman in 39th. And Trevor Osmonarth in 40th.
And Brock Westmoreland will keep the field going. He starts 41st. Zach Tostovan in 42nd. Christopher McCall will start 43rd. Danny Barnes to his outside in 44th. And rounding out our 46 truck field in row 23 is going to be Justin Mills and Thomas Parker. All right, here we go. Pace truck makes the hard left turn. Biggest field we've seen in a couple weeks. It's going to be a good one here tonight. First time into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Talladega. Lap 1 completed is going to go to Andrew Navarro on the outside. No 3 wide just yet. And just as I say that, looks like the 60 of Jeff Merck for NBG. Going to be the first guy to try to do it. And you see he's actually making a little bit of progress. And now that you see Steve Corsick at the 27 jump up to the top, I think we might see him and Lima jump to this outside. But they stay tucked in the middle for now.
Yeah, Merck just trying to get some people going out to that third lane. He likes to test it early. You're going to see Lima jump up there. Corsac probably going to fall in behind. Maybe try and get Steve tucked in between Zach and Jeff, but nothing really going right now. They're going to battle side by side, and you've got John Ward leading the outside lane. That newly painted number 92 truck pushed by Andrew Navarro with Nash Brambilla behind.
There goes Brambilla to the outside, making that big move further back. You see that third lane starting to form, but I want to almost say the pack looks kind of sloppy here early. Just not a lot of organization for really either lane, minus maybe the first 3 trucks in each row. And further back looks like Joey Duchette, and the 16 machine is now going to jump up to the middle. He's looking to see if he can make some ground. But that outside still being led by J.R. Miller. Now we're going to see Kyler Wynn jump up. And I think now is when maybe we start to see that lane move, Baker. You see a guy like Kyler Wynn jump up there, you know that they're going to start going to the front.
Yeah, and like you talked about, it's just a lot of disorganization right now. You got a really low track temp, so you have to have a lot of organization, especially in that third lane, to get anything going. This sun out, it's going to make it a little bit easier with the track temp, but you know, the air temp being so low, it's going to be very hard for these cars to get wound up. But I think everyone's really playing it safe. They want to get to that first pit stop, see if they can go green flag racing, because they know the winner of this race is getting an extra $50 if we go green flag.
And I'll tell you what, we have seen the easiest way for some of these big teams to win is when we indeed get to the pit stop. Merck to the outside, some contact between him and Steve Korsek in the 27. Looked like, not sure if Korsek was trying to jump out, didn't realize that Merck was there, just slipped up the track, but that's going to send the 60 all the way to the back of the long double file train. And Steve Korsek was able to tuck back in line. Man, that was a close call just after you mentioned the bonus 50 for going clean all the way. So they'll settle down for now, and it's almost looked like we're getting a break in between packs here. Looks like the front 8 trying to put a little bit of a gap between the next row of all single file trucks. And then after that, they continue to battle double file with Sheets on the outside. And it looks like one of the newer guys, Harrison Whitehead, running on the inside.
Yeah, just real clean racing up front. You see a lot of separation coming from the back half of the field. You see a little bit of 3-wide action. A little bit further back, Triscaro trying to get his teammate going on that outside, but nothing really working too much. You see the side-by-side, they hit the side draft, and it's really letting that front pack kind of get away.
John Ward ready to start controlling lanes. Man, that caused a massive checkup on that outside line. You saw the fire out of the pipes in the 42 and the 87 of Nash Brambilla. And you see Steve Korsek, Zachary Lima, who still sit just behind them. Cody Nagels, we saw that last Thursday, a couple of the MBG guys were working with a couple of the Dale Cup guys, but now that they got most of their team back together, I think those teams have probably split up again here for the night. But on the inside, we're seeing quite a few McCall Motorsports trucks get organized. Danny Escherman, Devin Ray driving bumper to bumper as they stand, and then you see Ken McCall Jr. just a couple rows in front of those two. John Mullihan in there as well. And as they drag race down through turns 1 and 2, that second pack that we talked about, thought maybe they were fading. They have caught right back up to the back bumper now. Still separation the further back you go in this pack. And if we go far enough back here, actually looks like we may have had a group that has potentially lost touch with the pack here. You see Kyler Wynn right now is leading what looks to be this third pack, actually pushing Tony Cox, who leads it. And right now they sit just over half a second back, so they're not going to lose this pack. But you certainly got to be careful as, again, I'm not sure if it's the cool track temp or what, Baker, but, man, guys really struggling to catch the trucks in front of them right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just all about the organization of these trucks and who can get 3 in a row lined up to really get pushing to get those lanes going. You're seeing it up front really well with Sean Hill, and you got Kenneth McCullough there on the bottom. Always 2 trucks that you see up front all the time. John Ward, bit of a surprise that he's up here leading early. He likes to hang back a little bit, but it's good to see him up here being aggressive. He's got Navarro up here. Navarro, you know, he loves to be up front as well. So you're seeing the usual suspects out here.
Well, we saw John Ward take a week off last week, right? And you would think with a field this competitive that surely he doesn't get himself up to the front this quick. Not the case. He has been leading just about the most laps here so far tonight. Him and Navarro have been going at it since the drop of the green flag as the pack starts to grow. Now we're going to see that third lane start to form up again. Looks like Michael Triscaro. I believe again, no, I take it back. That's actually John Darnell, who last week we saw get a runner-up, second place finish, best finish that he's gotten in the PGR Thursday Night Heat Series, and trying to see if he can top that off with the win here tonight. And I mean, Baker, we both know you get a win, second, third, any sort of a good money spot. It gives you a lot of confidence as a driver that you can go hang with these guys. And Darnell early trying to get a feel for the rest of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the chats right now, it looks like Merck is by himself. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe Cody's running with Lima and Steve. I don't know what happened there. I've been gone for a week and everything's blown up. But, you know, nonetheless, Merck doesn't look like he has too much damage on his truck. Went back and looked at it. You see Sean Hill move to that middle line, blocks Ward off. Ward gets to the top on Navarro. That's going to give the fresh temps to the top. Look for Ward to maybe try and dive down to the bottom side. Here you see Sean Hill try and stack it up. A little bit of a checkup towards that middle of the pack. 3 wide, they're getting all out of shape, trying to sort it back out. They're going to. Merck's going to be the big loser in this one. He's going to drop back a couple spots.
And going even further back, looks like now Logan York, he's going to see if he can make up a couple spots here, taking a peek to that third lane on the outside of the 73 of Ryan Baste. Nothing working just yet. Logan, heard him talking about in practice, some of the aggressive moves. Doesn't want to make them until it's the last lap, but you got to be aggressive to get to the front. And right now, that's exactly what he's looking to do here as he gives a push to Ryan Baste. And just as they tried to start getting that third lane going, again, they fade and have to drop back in line. So still, no momentum really to be made on that third line. And Baker, I think what this sets us up for is whether we get any cautions or not, track position is going to be key. If I am anywhere near the front, I want to keep it. I don't care how chaotic this looks.
Yeah, I want to be in these bottom 2 lanes. I don't want to be anywhere near that third lane. I think, you know, this is just me spitballing here, but once the day starts to go on, I think the track's going to get a little bit hotter. As you see John Ward right up in front of Alex Hill. Oh my goodness. I don't know how he didn't wreck. Cooler heads prevail there. You're going to watch Hill probably dive to the bottom here once it gets clear. Maybe Navarro as well. Big move by Ward. But like I was saying, I think once the time starts to go on, I think the tires are really going to wear. Once that happens, you're going to start to see that third line come into play. You see Sean Hill pulling the same move that Ward did there in turns 1 and 2, getting to that bottom side and coming back up to the middle, but he's not able to get clear.
And I think I'm more antsy to see if these guys can make it just under another what looks to be about 6 or 7 laps to that first pit stop, because with what we've seen so far, I think if they get broken up, we could see a strategy race. And again, that extra $50 that would be on the line for it. The winner of this race could be going home with upwards of $300. Going to be a good one here at the end. But looking towards the back of the pack, we still have some big hitters back here that you kind of wonder, what are they doing back here? And are they going to try to get their way to the front? Kyler Wynn, the biggest one that catches my eye, in 44th. Now, we know Kyler doesn't have any teammates whenever he runs, but certainly very aggressive and usually find him towards the front. Dylan Jones, another big hitter near there. I mean, you look back here, Thomas Parker, he must have had some sort of issue, finds himself currently the only truck not on the lead lap, and we know he's one of the KSR guys, so certainly has the speed each week, but just nothing working right now. He is hoping for a caution. Sierra Clampert, one of the fan favorites, back in 35th. Tony Cox, another one of the fan favorites. He's been going in the positive direction as he sits 32nd, up 4 from where he started. You see he's doing a little tandem draft right there on the outside line with the 27 of Justin Mills. They try to continue to crawl their way towards the front. And speaking of Justin Mills, that is one of the Hyper Motorsports trucks. Couldn't tell if he still had the Hyper scheme on right there or not. Either way, still working with anybody that he can to get to the front. But speaking of the front, John Ward continues to control lanes, and him and Navarro have actually switched. Navarro on the bottom. You think they're setting themselves up for those green flag stops?
I don't know. You've got a lot of laps left. I think what you're seeing here is trying to get the freshest temps on the bottom and middle lanes to keep that momentum going forward. That way that third line has no chance. You keep those temps fresh, these cars are going to be really, really fast, especially in these colder conditions. And I just don't think the third line's really going to have a chance until you see that tire wear it starts happening. But John Ward doing a very good job here, managing the lanes along with Andrew Navarro. Not many other competitors up front besides Sean Hill that know really what they're doing up front, controlling those lanes. You're seeing Nash get clear here. Let's see what he's going to do. Maybe he drops to the bottom, get a little offset with Ward there. He's going to drop to the bottom with Ward. Maybe he'll go back up to that third lane. They're trying to wreck, and they're all out of control. We're going to get a caution here.
Oh, further towards the back. Big trouble. And yeah, oh man, quite a few trucks going to be involved in this one as they're still piling in and trying to figure out just who all this involves. Looks like the 04 Christopher McCall, 72 of Tony Cox in the grass with Ron Morris Jr. Looks like another McCall Motorsports truck. Actually, I think that is Chris. Trying to get it back rolling. On the top, Thomas Parker's going to sneak by in the 51. He needed that caution, assuming that he didn't get involved in it. And so for yet another week, we will not quite make it to the first green flag stop. And any chance of that $50 is going to go away. Let's see how it came to an end here. Let's back this up, actually. We're going to have to take a couple different angles to figure out exactly where this starts. And looks like You see some smoke right there? Ooh, this is going to start right around the 16 truck of Joey Duchette. So as we go up here to the 16, we'll zoom it in for you a little bit. Looks like him and Dustin Carruthers are going to be the first two to tangle. This starts about halfway down the back straightaway. And so if we go to the chopper view on this one, you see Joey getting a big push. Dustin starts coming down on him. But it looks like, let's see if I can correct myself on this one here. Watch it full speed. Boy, that's a close call. You see Dustin had a checkup in front of him, and then when Joey comes back up, the 10's there. They make some contact. Turns Dustin around into the pack, and around they all go. I'll take a look at it here from the TV follow. There you go. You see once the 10 truck gets turned, oh, they almost save it. Oh, but it's a secondary bump. Gets up into the 29 of Harrison Whitehead. And then everybody else is just going to pile in from here on out. And let's see, we're going to go take a little bit of a different look at this here. I wanted to get back to where Dustin Carruthers was. And, this is one of those ones. We'll see what Baker has to say about it here. We know he's race control. He'll get the final say on this all. But, to me, it almost looks like, both guys maybe a little bit in the wrong here. In the sense of, we saw, of course, looked like Dustin came down a little bit late. Joey went below the apron to avoid maybe spinning him out. They get into the corner. There's a checkup. And Joey has a choice. Joey can, ride on the apron there for a little bit longer. Or maybe, Mike say, Dustin, let him up. At the same time, Dustin, he's got room to go up a lane here to let that 16 back on. Dustin, maybe at the same time, feeling like what Joey could have done. Let off the gas a little bit there, tuck back in line. Either way, just seems like kind of two guys butting heads. And fortunately, the rest of the field probably not going to be too happy with those two. And then whoever wins this race's chance of winning an extra $50. And Christopher McCall piles in, and oh man, late after the caution. Ron Morris Jr. doesn't look like was able to get the truck slowed down too much. The 55, Mike Davenport in this as well. But all in all, definitely did not collect quite as many trucks as it first looked like it did. And I think we're only going to have probably 2 to 3 guys that actually have to use a fast pair when this thing's all said and done, as we take a couple more views at it. That's a good job by the rest of the field. I'll tell you what, that is a lot of trucks that arrived on the scene pretty quickly. For them to all miss it there is a heck of a thing to see. Sierra Clampert, she had a pretty good view of this one, and she was able to miss it. Let's take a ride on board real quick. Let's actually slow that down a little bit for you. She sees it all happening, slows down, keeps it together. Let's ride on board finally one more time now with Joey Duchette, and actually back this up a little bit more to where this all starts. And he sees Dustin, and probably not expecting Dustin to come down. And I think at this point, maybe a little upset. Feels like, hey, I feel like I was there, man, and probably was thinking that Dustin would cut him a break there. Doesn't, but man, oh man. Baker, you got any official word on it yet? It looks like he might still be getting it taken care of as they stand. So as we go back live up front, John Ward still being scored as the leader of the race. This brought us just a couple laps before what we would have seen as our first green flag stop. So everybody going to come in, take fuel. A couple guys towards the back, probably taking 4. Everybody else towards the front, taking 2. In terms of tires, Cody Nagels, though, sitting in 2nd. Nash Brambilla 3rd. Andrew Navarro 4th. Steve Korosek in 5th. Alex Hill back in 6th. Currently the last money spot being paid here tonight. Zachary Lima 7th. Ken McCall Jr. 8th. John Mullahan 9th. And Devin Ray rounding out your top 10. And so this first restart that we're going to see here of the night, we'll see if these guys decide to turn it up just a little bit now that they know there's no added bonus for the rest of this race for going green. Next green flag stop, if we were to have one, looks like would be right around lap 32. I would say maybe, probably right around lap 32, maybe 33, 34 if you're really saving here. But that's still going to be a couple stops left in this race. In fact, I think it would still be 2 stops. These guys to all make it to the finish. Again, 60 laps here tonight. 5 laps longer than our usual distance. But Baker had noted about the track temp currently up a degree from where we started. And the cloudiness throughout the sky certainly isn't helping the case of that track warming up any quicker than that. But Nash Brambilla doesn't really have any other teammates up where he is right now, so I think he's going to stay pretty patient with whoever chooses to lead this inside line. Right now, of course, it being John Ward and Cody Nagels on the outside with a push from Andrew Navarro. We'll see if he decides to jump down, try to take control of this race. And then the 77 of Alex Hill, just a couple spots behind, currently sits third on that outside. Ken McCall Jr. just behind him as well. Watch for that 03 to maybe take it 3 wide. He would have 2, make it 3 teammates lined up behind him. So I think McCall Motorsports might be the case to try to get this third line working for the first time here tonight.
Yeah, really excited to see what happens here. We're going to waive that $50 for the clean race award and give it to the most laps led. How about that?
And there you go. Hey, keeping everybody in the mindset right now. I believe John Ward leading that category, and it's going to help his case by Andrew Navarro being back second on that outside line instead of leading it. But as green flags back in the air, the inside with a good jump. Nash Brambilla on the bumper of John Ward. Steve Korosek, Alex Hill both trying to pull up to the back bumper. Now Steve's actually going to jump up. A little bit of coordination right there, as we know those teammates, Dale Cup and some of the NBG guys working together tonight. And now we'll see if those 3 trucks decide to take it 3 wide. As they drag race down the backstretch, so Baker, did we ever get a final say on how it was ruled about that last caution?
Yeah, it kind of looked like Doucette was forced below the yellow, but he had a decision to make to back out of the throttle, get back in line. By rule, he was the cause of caution. He turned Dustin, but he's forced to make that decision. If that's a race-winning move decision, that's going to be a DQ on Dustin. But for now, that's just the cause of caution caused by Joey Doucette. He was understanding of the situation that happened. He wasn't given any room for Dustin to be led up the track, but he's fine. No damage to his car. Just got a little bit of an EOL. He'll get back up front. He's very good, and you saw him in the Little Guy Series get that win last week, and really excited to watch him probably get in the money in this race. I got my money on him tonight.
And as you speak about him going back to the front, exactly what he's trying to do is he runs on this outside line, but it seems like the further back you get in the draft here, Baker, it's just so much harder to really make any progress when you duck out of line. You really got to try to stay tucked together until that pack tightens up and you get double file. But up front, Andrew Navarro finds his way quickly back to the lead in front of John Ward. Cody Nagels on the outside getting a push from Steve Korosek, Alex Hill, Zachary Lima. Those are 4 teammates here effectively tonight. So they're not going to go anywhere. Right now it's all up to Navarro on how much he wants to control. But Ken McCall Jr. going to jump out of line. His teammates will let him back in. For a minute I thought he was thinking about going to the back. But as he tucks in line, maybe just a little bit of a checkup, not sure. Further back, there's the 6 truck of William Ransone. No teammates here tonight, but he's already up 14 from where he started as he continues to crawl his way up towards the front of the field.
Good side-by-side action right now. These 2 up front, they've led the most laps. You've seen Navarro and Ward really exchanging blows, exchanging temps, really, not exchanging blows. I don't think they're really racing aggressive. It's more smart to try and get to the front and maintain that position up front. Cody Nagels, though, once he gets out front, he does not like to relinquish that lead, and he's got Steve Korosek behind him, his teammate, and another teammate, Sean Hill, right behind him as well. You're going to see Cody drop to the bottom, just like we talked about. You're going to look for a control here by these Dale Cup boys.
Big move right there by Cody Nagels as he dropped to the bottom in a hurry. Now we do see some 3 wide out back. Looks like John Mullahan's going to jump up to the middle as it's Ken McCall Jr. leading the outside. We'll see if Mullahan decides to jump up in front. Starting to see a couple takers. First time tonight, looks like we got 5 or more trucks currently on this outside line as they quickly fade to 4. Nobody else taking it just yet. If Devin Ray gets clear, watch for him and John Mullahan, the other 2 McCall Motorsports trucks, to jump up in front of Ken McCall Jr., but nothing doing yet. And again, this third line going to start to fade. Big breakup now on the inside as Nash Brambilla, with no help from behind, tries to keep John Ward on the bumper of Andrew Navarro.
I hate to really say it, but this is kind of how the trucks run in real life. You don't see that third lane too often. And when that third lane comes, it's going to come with a big surge, but it's only if the temps are run out in the middle and the bottom lines. But if they can just maintain and keep those temps good in those 2 lines, I think they're going to be good. As you see, 2 packs are split up right now.
Yeah, big split right here. I mean, this second pack starts in the 31st position, actually make it 30th with Dustin Carruthers leading it. And it goes all the way back to the rest of the field, about 46 trucks. So 16 truck pack has left the lead pack. And this is just guys all trying to get organized. But, I mean, there's some big hitters in this pack. Dustin Carruthers, Jason Main, Zach Dwast, Joey Deschette, Brock Westmoreland. I mean, these are guys that we see running at the front regularly, so I think there's still a chance that they're able to catch this lead pack, but I think they would definitely like to see a caution as it would make their job a lot easier. Currently sitting, looks like just over 3 seconds back from the back bumper of Trevor Oswornoff. Currently the last truck in this lead pack, running just behind Christopher McCall. But up front is where all eyes continue to maintain as Baker, we really haven't seen much change so far in your top 10. As it seems like the guys that are making the most progress are the guys that just stay in one of those bottom 2 lanes. Anybody that's went 3 wide has ultimately went to the back.
Yeah, absolutely. Went to the back, or they side drafted themselves out of the main pack, as that second pack needs to get lined up. They keep side drafting yourself, going 3 wide. You see those front 5 start to really peek out of line. You see, oh man, big move up the middle here, 3 wide in the front pack as well. A lot of action going on throughout the pack, but they need to get lined up single file. You know, Jason Mayne's the guy who set the weather, is 4 seconds and fading right now. So he's probably kicking himself in the butt right now for the weather that he set, but this is the beast that he created. It's realistic truck racing. Not used to what we're seeing on iRacing, but it's a lot of fun to watch right now.
I could completely agree with the way you just talked about this being a lot more like real life than what we're used to seeing in terms of the way the racing's going right now. And Steve Korsak on the outside, still getting pushed by Alex Hill in the 77. And, you know, I don't think Cody is pushing the issue too hard, and it's always easier when you got a teammate to your outside because you know that they're not necessarily going to clear you unless you're okay with it. So right now I think Steve and Cody just kind of for a Sunday drive as Navarro hoping that he can find a gap to maybe jump up. John Ward finds himself buried now 3rd on the inside. Yet again, looks like we're going to see that 3rd lane start to form up, trying to figure out exactly who is leading it. It's going to be the 26 of Danny Esterman getting a push from his teammate, Ken McCall Jr. And I do think, though, Baker, if we were to see enough trucks commit as they stand right now, I think if we could pull out maybe another 2 or 3 trucks, this 3rd lane would really start to roll. Jeff Merck now going to try his hand as he jumps to the outside in front of Eshelman. Get a couple more. Looks like maybe Devin Ray up there as well. All of a sudden, here comes the 3rd line.
You need that 3rd line to go. I mean, these front 2, they haven't changed positions. You haven't seen Steve pulled out. You haven't seen Cody pull out. You're going to see this 3rd lane come, just like you're talking about. Merck giving a great shove to Devin Ray right now as he's coming up to the back bumper of Steve Korsak. You're going to see a lot of momentum. They're a little bit broken up there on that 3rd line. If they can get one more truck up there, I think they have a real shot to clear. You see 2 trucks are going to clear from that middle line to the bottom. They're not going to take it, though. You know what they're trying to do, run out the temps of that 3rd line.
And I don't get it. We just saw 6, 7 trucks on the outside. They made a ton of progress, and all of a sudden they all bailed. Looks like they're going to start to reform up now. But as you noted there, Jeff Merck, Danny Esserman, they can only push so long if it's only those 3. So they're hoping that they can get a little help. But Devin Ray is going to surge out enough in front, and that is a big move. The rest of the field taking notes right now, saying that 3rd lane, it does work if you get the right pushers. And we certainly know Jeff Merck is one of those guys that can push you out to the lead. So now Devin Ray's got control of the middle line. That's going to break up Dale Cup just for the moment as Cody Nagel still leads the inside. And looking at pit stops, Baker, again, this is right around the time we saw the last caution. But if we can keep it green, maybe expecting those pit stops in about 6, 7 laps from now.
Yeah, 6 or 7 laps. Very impressive, Devin Ray. I wouldn't say very impressed. He has proven that he is not a little guy. You know, he's one of the big dogs. You see, Merck's getting wrecked
jinxed it.
all in front of the field.
Big wreck here. This one's going to collect just about this entire front pack. Now can the second pack get slowed up for? We got smoking cars everywhere. Korsak's going to make some more contact. They're still wrecking on the apron. Second pack's arrived on scene. And it looks like, we're still wrecking back here. It's a mess. And it looks like finally everybody's going to mind their P's and Q's, so we will be able to start the cleanup process. But, man, that was a big one. I think I gave it the announcer's jinx right there. Man, oh, man. Let's go take a look. What brings out the second caution of the night?
It's going to be a lot to sort out, especially with the second pack. I just don't understand how we aren't going to slow down there as a second pack, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they were 3 seconds back. I mean, if I'm back there, the caution's already out by then. There's no position to gain. I mean, you might as well just bring it to just about a halt. You don't have to completely stop, but man, oh man. All right, so here we go. Let's go back up to the front and see if we can find exactly where this whole incident starts at. And you see it coming off the 2. Oh, it's going to start on the top line. Man, Jeff Merck cannot catch a break. He just got up here, pushed Devin up here, and there you see it. Danny Eshelman trying to help Merck get to the front, but he gets offset to the left. Sometimes you get just slightly offset to the right. You can get away with it. But, man, you get offset to the left, you're not going to get away with it. And right there, as soon as that happens, it turns Jeff Merck right around here. Let's change the angle up here just a little bit for this one. As you're going to see, once Merck gets turned, gets right down into Devin Ray. And as they go back up the track, just roadblock. Looks like Zachary Lima is going to be the first one to sneak through. I believe Kyler Wynn does as well. But behind them here, it is a melee mad dash to miss the chaos. Gotta say, all pile in. You see a couple guys go down to the inside wall. There's the 04 of Christopher McCall. They're not done wrecking yet. You see Steve Korsek. Looks like him and David Sheets get together in kind of a little bit of a secondary collision. And then the second pack arriving on scene is where we unfortunately see even more chaos here. Let's get a couple different looks at this one. A couple guys made it through this. We talked about Lima being the first one to. But just nowhere to go. I mean, once they all slide down to the apron, it starts to open up, and here you see David Sheets waiting for the second pack to arrive on scene. Steve's trying to get it off track, so they make some contact. And then here's a little bit later. There's the second pack, and just couldn't tell that was maybe the 55 of Mike Davenport piling in. And so that causes a little bit more damage. Here's a look from TV2. And again, you hate that one for both guys involved, right? In the sense of both guys that were initially involved. Danny trying to help Jeff stay up front. He's got to push. We already talked about that. That's what it's going to take for that third lane to make progress. But, man, there's a fine line when you're pushing. You have got to stay center, especially in the corners. And coming off the corner, we know that's when the truck really unloads. Probably the most vulnerable place to get pushed. And that's all it took. Turn Merck down into Devin Ray. And the wreck's on from there. See Navarro slide. He takes a pretty big hit to the inside wall with nowhere to go. So there's the second pack arriving on scene. And let's take one more ride through this one here. Actually, I want to take a couple different angles. The first one to look at here was, I thought it might have been Justin Mills in the 6 machine. Here we go. I think he's actually going to get through all this chaos. So he sees him wrecking, gets on the brakes. The lanes start to open up, and the seas part. And the 27 just able to slip by as, looked like Kyler may have actually gotten some damage from it. Thought he was able to get by it all clean. But as we go back live and up front, Zachary Lima, we talked about he did get through it, the first one to slide by, so he is now being scored as your leader. John Mullihan back in second, John Ward in third, Nash Brambilla fourth, Michael Triscaro in fifth, Logan York in sixth, Danny Eshelman seventh, Dylan Jones up 30 positions from where he started, finds himself in eighth. Ryan Bass back at ninth, and Sean Corbett currently rounding out your top 10. And so we'll see if we get the one to go signal this time. It's going to be, when we get the restart, if we do get one to go, it's going to be right at halfway. So still expecting one more green flag pit stop if these guys can keep it together. That would come somewhere, the window actually would open probably right around lap 44. We might see guys go a couple laps later, though, maybe till about 46 in case we have couple overtimes. But as they get the one to go, Lima lines up on the inside, Mullihan on the outside. And there's John Ward in third. He's been in the podium, I think, this entire race. John's doing a phenomenal job. Michael Triscaro back in fifth. He's having a good run here so far tonight. And actually, as we get the one to go here, I think we'll wait till next time. I was going to pull up the driver, the 34. And actually, I take it back. Let's pull him up here for a quick word. Hey, Michael, this is Austin Baker up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do. How you doing, man?
Good. Well, I tell you what, it has been a wild race so far. Kind of a mix. We've seen a lot of green flag racing and a couple cautions mixed in as well. But man, oh man, it seems like track position has been extra important tonight. How do you kind of go about strategizing that as a driver? Now that you got the track position, do you hold where you're at? Do you try to push forward? How do you manage it?
Yeah, I'm kind of just staying put where I'm at. That's kind of what I did there. I wasn't trying to get too aggressive, and I told Nash, my teammate who was in front of me, if there's a wreck, I'm just going to bail out to the apron. That's kind of what I did. Went to the wall and was lucky to not, get caught up in that. So I think I'm just going to stay put here for a while, and, the window should open with like 41, 42. So we might, come in a little early, take some fuel, and hopefully go to the finish.
All right, sounds like a pretty good strategy. We'll see if you can get the job done here tonight. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. All right, Baker, did we ever get any official word on the caution?
Yeah, just like Eshelman was lined up square on him, just hooked Merck down to the inside. Just more of a racing incident more than anything. He's just trying to get him to the front. No real cause of caution, but just unfortunate. You know, that's super speedway, hard racing.
Certainly is. So as they work their way back to the start-finish line, green flag is in the air. 31 laps to go at Talladega. Lima with a good start. And we will see, how does he control it this time? No teammates really in the area to be found. Instead, he's got John Ward pushing as hard as he can behind him on the outside. Nash Miller, we know how good of a pusher he is. Watch for this outside line to surge down the back straightaway. And we just heard from Michael that he likes the position he's in. Was able to get through that last wreck. And so now he is going to stay right where he is in line. And Baker, that strategy works as long as they don't all start cycling down to the inside once they take the lead. But I'm going to hold that thought as we got a little bit of a checkup here towards the middle. Ooh, Eshelman on the apron. This is close. Everybody's got to keep it together. No one letting Danny back up. And looks like he's finally going to bail out of it. And that's a smart move by Danny Eshelman. But, man, a tough break is just looked like nobody wanted to help him out and let him back up.
Yeah, a couple people did. It just looked like the top lane didn't really know what was going on. They weren't going to be expected to be 3 wide, you know. So good on him for staying towards the apron, not forcing the issue, trying to get back up the track like you saw earlier in the race. But he'll fight his way back up there. Eshelman's a great racer. Hopefully we'll get the push to the front, and hopefully this package will work out good for him.
And John Mullihan still not quite able to get clear on the outside. That first lap was his best chance to do so. And because of that, Lima, he is now going to get clear, takes full advantage of it as he will jump to the top to lead. And, man, a lot of fishtailing going on, Baker. We're starting to see guys that really haven't been paired all night all of a sudden pushing each other and trying to stay up front. And how do you think maybe that changes the complexity of a race, especially if you're the guy leading? I mean, does that kind of determine how willing of how much of a risk you're willing to take by jumping up if you don't know the guy that's going to be behind you?
Yeah, you know, I think you think back to the earlier FEG days where, you know, there's not a lot of teams that were formed up, or you look at the draft event that we had a couple weeks ago where, you know, not necessarily people are on teams, but they know how to run around each other. You know, Lima and Mullihan know how to run around each other. You know, Triscaro and Ward know how to run around each other, and Dylan Jones. But, you know, they're not in that Discord together. It's just not the same level of communication that you're having. So there's going to be a little bit of offset, a little bit of wiggle. But these guys trust each other enough. You see Lima drop to the bottom. Trust each other enough to get to the front and keep those temps going and keep those temps cycled.
And the man on the move right now is Trevor Osronoff. As you see him split in traffic, we know he's got to win in the PGR Thursday Night Heat Series. You know he knows how to get it done. And he is on KSR, a very, very strong stable of drivers. And the further he gets to the front, the harder things are going to get. But he knows that 28 laps to go, that's really not a long time. And if we do have that green flag stop, you want to be as close to the front as possible so you can try to stay with the leaders when they all come into pit. And right now, ooh, caution, we're going to all wreck here. Big wreck. Trevor Osronoff tries to go high. He's going to pile in as he's not quite able to get slowed down. They all came up in front, had nowhere to go. And just below, a couple other guys involved in this one. Looks like the 28 of Ed Osborne, who's having a pretty good night. The 32 as well of Michael Menchaca. And so the chaos will continue. This will now be the third caution of the night. Just over 10 laps ran before each caution, it looks like, this point. And so let's go back and take a look. We were just getting ready to switch from the onboard Trevor Osbornoff when this all happens. And, ooh, Dustin Carruthers is going to be the first one to go sideways here. Let's go to the TV follow view to start. And you see, looks like he's ducking down here in front of Rhett Tucker. And looks like he gets there, and then Rhett just kind of, looks like gives him a shot in the left rear. And we know that's a no-no. That turns the 10 of Dustin Carruthers down into the 28, sends him back up into John Darnell. And now, at that point, the wreck's on from here. Everybody going to pile in. Oh, man, 2 McCall Motorsports teammates piled up. And one little ball right there. There's the 89 of Trevor Osbornoff. Talked about had nowhere to go, committed to the top. And unfortunately, that's where they all slid. Ron Morris Jr. is going to pile in late as well. Ken McCall Jr., 22 of Devin Ray, brings it to a halt on the apron. The 28 comes to a stop. And we will take, I want to take an onboard view before we take any other sort of outside looks at it here from Rhett Tucker's point of view, again, it looked to me like Dustin was clear when he came down, and then Rhett just kind of like, let's see here. Let's play it slow. So you see there's the move from Dustin. I mean, he's clear. Dustin makes the move. He's clear. And it's just kind of a weird – I mean, Rhett never really moved his line, but at the same time, he was kind of in a line that just – wasn't going to work when he gets to the back bumper here. Look how offset he is, and that tap just sends Dustin right around. I'm not sure if Rhett was maybe kind of caught – I want to say caught sleeping just a little bit. Didn't really expect the move. Was kind of just focused ahead. Started to zone out a little bit, and when Dustin came down, didn't really focus on the idea. I mean, that's what it certainly looks like from up here. We'll see what Baker has to say about it. Didn't look like anything intentional by any means, but just another one of those incidents that we've seen here tonight with just some offset contact. Doesn't take much, and it sends Dustin Carruthers around. Here's going to be some of the secondary impacts for Ron Morris Jr. Trying to get it wound up, takes the top, gets it pretty slowed down, and man, oh man, looked like he just started to go down the banking right before it was going to clear out of his way. So this one going to be a couple more fast pairs for a couple different guys. So we take a look now from the wall cam. Back this up just a little bit here. And just a very, very, I don't want to say an odd incident, but it's been that way for a couple of them here tonight. Just pushing guys, trying to make progress to the front. I mean, it's what we expect to see at these super speedways. But if they have another caution here and any time after about 10 laps from now, then that would eliminate that final green flag stop, which some of these teams are hoping that we can make it to that stop. Other teams are hoping that we don't have a green flag stop. But right now, as we go back live up front, it is Zachary Lima leading the way. John Mullihan in second. John Ward third. How about Zach DeAust? Currently sits in that fourth spot. He's up 30 positions from where he started. And the driver of the 71 is certainly earning himself some respect out of North Anson, Maine. And we will see. He's currently sitting in front of Danny Barnes, who's back in fifth. Chris Blanchard in sixth. Justin Mills seventh. Steve Korsak eighth with Jason Maines ninth. And Nash Brambilla, the 87, currently rounding out your top 10. And everybody had to assume was going to come down top off on fuel and potentially tires right there. Definitely fuel. And I want to give a shout out to a couple of the other guys that we have carrying onboards for us here tonight. Didn't get to look through them at the start with the amount of action that we had going on, but John Darnell talked about got series best finished last week, and he is carrying an onboard for us here tonight. The driver of the 99 Ghost Racing Network Chevy Silverado. Certainly appreciate the hood sponsor. And as we go back even further, Jeff Berg talked about really has not been his night so far, but still has some time to try to get things straightened out. Currently sits in that 36th position. Looks like John Mullihan, actually first time carrying a driver cam for us here tonight, but he's got it sideways. Make sure to give him a hard time about that a little bit later. Tony Cox, fan favorite, tuning into the driver cam tonight. There's Tony. Currently sits in 35th, up a spot from where he started. He's got some work to do, been involved in a couple unfortunate incidents tonight. None of his helping. But I'm telling you, man, if you put this guy up in the top 10 at the end of the race, he's going to surprise you. Easily probably going to be able to get a money spot. He's got the talent, just needs a break. Hard to do when you really don't have any teammates. But he's going to continue to try to do it again. Looks like it's going to be 24 laps to go when we take the green. See if we got Baker back, and if so, Baker, do you have any final say on what that caution was?
Hey, yeah, sorry, I was just talking to the guys there. It just looked like more of a racing deal than anything. You saw Rhett was about half a lane down from where that middle line was. Dustin thought he was clear, which he was clear, and he fitted in there. But once he did, Rhett didn't really have time to check up, and he was already on that left quarter, and it turned him. So no fault there. Just someone trying to get clear from that top lane to the middle lane, and Rhett really not in that same line as that middle line.
Could not agree more. All right, here we go. Getting ready for the fourth restart of the night. I guess I should say third restart of the night, fourth start. And, we'll talk about payouts here in just a minute. But it was based on 40, and that was with the winner going home with $250, second $200, all the way back to $6. We have 46. So go ahead and do that math in your head a little bit. It's going to be that much more. It's going to be a fun finish. Don't forget about the bonus 50 for most laps led. We will see who can steal it. As Zachary Lima, first time in the lead here tonight, we'll see what he can do. And again, John Ward, we talked about it. Seems like he has been in a podium spot all night, and he is going to remain there for this restart as well. Green flag is back in the air. 24 laps to go at Talladega. Good start for the inside, but it looks like this time that outside line going to get organized much quicker. I think Mullihan's going to have a chance to get clear down the back straightaway.
Yeah, you can see a lot more organization on the bottom, though. You're going to see a good push to that outside lane like you're talking about, though. I don't think they're going to have enough momentum unless Lima can't get up. He can't get up the side draft. You're right, though. Mullihan gets clear to that bottom lane. You see this middle line start to surge. You see the third line start to come. Look at Logan York on the outside. He's getting to push Andrew Navarro. Where can he go with this momentum? Maybe he can get a couple trucks up with him, and you can see that third line really start to surge like we talked about. Those temps are starting to rise as this track temp starts to climb.
And I'm telling you, that third lane is such a 50-50 shot when you do it on the first lap. We've seen cases where you duck out on that first lap in the third lane and you go straight to the back. Other times we see exactly what we're seeing now. You make the move, it holds, and you start to make some gain towards the front. The 28 now going to jump to the outside is, how about Chris Blanchard, currently sitting second in that middle line. A little bit of a stack up is going to send that middle back just a little bit. That will allow the outside line being led by Ed Osborne, who we saw involved in that last wreck. Now trying to see if he could fight for the lead with 23 laps to go.
He's getting a good push from Logan York. Navarro lined up behind him. You see a couple guys who you don't normally see up front working together well there on the outside. They just need to push down just a little bit lower. You hear Logan York in the chat saying that. You see Lima come to the... Oh, he's going to get turned up into the wall.
And this is going to be, looks like, do they save it? No, they're not. We're going to have a couple more go around out back. Yellow flag back in the air as now they're still plying up Trasquero in the secondary wreck. And man, oh man, looks like this is going to be another one of about 5 to 10 trucks. Can't even see them all. They're scattered everywhere from about the start of pit entry to the start-finish line as Dustin Carruthers tries to get that truck back rolling in the right direction. And it's starting to seem like that point in the race where the cautions are breeding cautions. And we have got yet another one with 22 laps to go. This won't quite put everybody in the fuel window, but it does put them that much closer. As let's go take a look at what does indeed bring out your fourth caution of the night. And so if we back this up a little bit more here, actually this is going to start, there's like 3 different wrecks here. So we'll start with the one up front. Zachary Lima in the 4 truck, the first to go sideways here, and was looking for him right here. Thinking he got turned, but I'm thinking it may have been something to do with when he had actually hopped up the track. And I mean, at this point, they were 4 wide. This is after the contact. All right, so you see Lima currently sitting on the inside, just behind John Mullihan. And I'll actually go to the chopper view. He's trying to get clear to jump up. And he does, man, yeah, he does, just barely, but it's enough. And he jumps up to 71 again, another one of those scenarios. This one, even less than the one we saw with Merck. I mean, the 71, he's got him square. I mean, look how squared up the push is. To me, from that view, it doesn't look like he's offset at all. The only thing I can think is maybe Lima, the truck was still trying to kind of settle down from when he made that move up and was steering it back down. But that gets Lima out of shape, gets down into the bottom line, goes back up into the outside wall, then gets into Ed Osborne. Initially, they save it, but you know that there's just no chance in these sort of scenarios that everybody's going to be able to hold on. And looks like the 28 of Ed Osborne back into the outside wall. Logan York trying to save it. He does. I'll tell you what, that was a phenomenal save by Logan York. But here you go. They're going to fan out. Looks like 4, maybe even 5 wide in the trial again. Everybody just trying to miss it. And there's going to be the first big contact. Rhett Tucker, Michael Trasquero, hard into the outside wall. Mike Davenport spins. And then this secondary rack further back is what's going to collect even more of them. I saw Trevor Osbornoff. I believe he might have been the first guy to get turned in the secondary incident. So let's back it up and take a look at that one now. And I'll tell you what, it has been a rough night for some of these KSR guys. We saw Dustin this one as well. So here we go. Let's look from the TV follow cam. As you see, they come off turn 4. There's the initial big checkup, but it stacks up out back so quickly. You're going to see Trevor here in the 89. He's going to get tagged by Ron Morris Jr. Again, just not everybody quite able to see the checkup in time. He gets up, and actually, friendly fire there is nowhere to go. He's going to get into Dustin Carruthers. And up the track, they're both going to slide. The 23, Brock Westmoreland, looks like he got together with Justin Mills. They both go up the track. There's Ron Morse Jr. And now just everybody piling in. Trevor Osranoff comes to a stop. Let's take a look at it from the fan cam. Had a pretty good view of this one. And Ryan Baste, not quite able to sneak through. Looks like David Sheets, however, was. With a couple other guys. Michael Triscaro, we saw the big contact for him. Here's the ride on board. Actually, he survived probably the worst of this, but he was part of the two guys that made heavy contact here. There's the turn, and almost used that truck on his outside there. Acted as a little bit of a cushion. I think that's still potentially going to be a fast pair for the 34 truck. We have had quite a few big incidents here tonight, and this is going to tally on yet another one as we take the final view of it. Rhett Tucker looking like he's going to get the worst of it there with Justin Miller. J.R. Miller. Man, I am a lot of new names here tonight, and you can tell I was having a little trouble right there for just a moment. But up front, John Mullihan being scored as your leader. John Ward in second. Zach DeOst in third. Chris Blanchard fourth. Andrew Navarro in fifth. Steve Korsak sixth. Glenn Jones in seventh with Jason Maines eighth. Danny Barnes in ninth. And Kyler Wynn rounding out your top 10. Looks like the lights on the pace truck are off, so we will go back green this time as they slowly work their way around this 2.65-mile super speedway. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back for the green flag. Stick with us. All right, back live at Talladega Superspeedway, getting ready for another restart as the pace truck pulls off. John Mullihan, John Ward, the two Johns making up the front row. It's going to be 19 laps to go as they work their way into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air.
Hey.
We got one out back.
Just as I was getting.
Looks like Mark Vondell will stay green as it's just one truck. As Vondell comes to a halt, and I think Mark maybe has had enough for the night. Looks like he's immediately going to take it to the pits. And man, that's a tough break. Thinking Mark got turned out of line here. None of his helping. Something to do with a stack up, I'm going to have to assume. And here you go, coming to the restart zone. Oh yeah, it's a big checkup, and unfortunately Mark gets ran over by Justin Mills as a result of the checkup. So the 59 looks like he has decided to call it, at least for now. Meanwhile, up front as they drag race into turn 3, John Ward trying to hold the lead, but Mullihan's going to surge out ahead now on the inside. And how about in the second row on the inside, Zach DeOst having a great run tonight. Baker, what do you think of him?
Yeah, Zach DeOst having another great run. Also, you got Korsak pushing along. John Ward. Who is that in the middle of John Ward? I can't figure out who that is
Looks
right
like
now.
Chris Blanchard.
Oh, Chris Blanchard having a great run as well. Two names you're not really familiar with, both doing a great job being the pushers in that top and bottom line.
And John Ward got clear right there. Actually, it might have been two trucks. They got clear. They decided to stay up. Now, John Ward and John Mullihan, ex-teammates from McCall Motorsports, now that John Ward's over at Hyper. Don't think that was why he chose to stay up. I think it's more or less he thinks that outside line is rolling that much better right now. And remember, as track temp goes up, the outside rolls a little bit better, up another degree, now at 68. Not enough to make a huge difference, but right now, I'm more interested on, do you think we're going to see any strategy for this final pit stop, Baker? The window opens here in just about 2 to 3 laps.
Yeah, it definitely opens about 2 or 3 laps. See Jason Main's getting shuffled to that third line. He's not going to get any help. Kim McCullough is going to be the first truck to him on the back bumper. They'll have 4 cars up on that third lane. You're going to see some fight here for track position before that pit stop. If not, you're going to see some people fall back, try to save some fuel, maybe wait for that caution. That way they can stay out.
And if we were to get a caution from this point on, everybody would be good to go on fuel, and we're going to get it. Have a couple trucks around. Down they go. Cody Nagels is around. More contact to the inside wall. And it brings out 5th caution of the night.
This looks like a case of not being clear and coming right up in front of a truck.
Seems like these guys definitely having some troubles here tonight. A lot of money on the line. I don't know if that's part of some of the chaos that we've had here tonight or what, but let's go back and take a look. As on the outside, looks like that's Kyler Wynn and Zachary Lima that are the first 2 to tangle. And here we go. You see Lima on the outside. And yep, just Kyler Wynn just coming up. Not sure if, again, as Baker just said, he was trying to jump up, thought he was clear, maybe was trying to follow Steve. As he saw Steve start to creep up, I'm thinking maybe he was trying to jump up, just not quite clear. As Lima's there, and once they make contact, the 82 and the 4 go into the wall and back down the track. Here we go. Everyone else is going to get collected. Oh, man, Ken McCall Jr. slides hard into the inside wall. Looks like Harrison Whitehead was involved in this one as well. He goes down to the inside wall. Let's take a couple different angles of this. And there's the big hit to the rear end for Ken McCall Jr. And David Sheets piles in with nowhere to go. This one certainly could have been a little bit messier than it was, but it does still collect probably about 5 to 10 trucks. Let's take a look here. Let's ride on board, actually. Take a ride on board here with Harrison Whitehead. He had a pretty good angle of this whole thing as it unfolded, and nowhere to go, of course, at the same time. There's the contact, sends him around, lets the truck roll, gets some more contact. As I think I might have saw Joey Duchette in this one, or at least sneaking through it, I should say. Take one more angle of it. This one not too much, again, to really break down. I mean, Baker called it basically as soon as it happened. Just somebody not quite clear, making the move. And when they wreck, they're going to collect as many as it'll take. Talladega unforgiving. And so that is going to add yet another caution to our total here for the night. 15 laps to go, and now everybody is going to be good to go on fuel the rest of the way, and that is going to make things that much more crazy from here on out, as it looks like Rhett Tucker going to get his lap back. And so up front, you still have John Mullihan leading, John Ward in second, Andrew Navarro back in third, Steve Korsak in fourth. Danny Barnes up 39 positions now, your new biggest mover inside the top 10. He sits in fifth. Dylan Jones back in 6th, Logan York in 7th. Justin Mills back up to 8th. Looks like maybe a little damage on the right front of his truck. Can't tell. Looks like the fender's beat in a little bit. And then Dustin Carruthers, the last man inside the top 10. There's Trevor Osbornoff, though. Currently sitting just behind him at 11th. He's up 29 from where he started. Seems like he's been the man that's been able to rise from the dead a couple times here tonight. We've seen him in a couple different incidents, and he still makes his way back up towards the front. And there you go. Good-looking paint scheme for Trevor Osbornoff. Like the red and black going together pretty well. And so I don't know if we got Baker back yet or not, but I think we have that one pretty sorted out enough to not really need the official word for it. And this restart will put us at, looks like 13 laps to go, assuming we get the 1 to go signal this time. And so take a minute to talk about payouts real quick. Now, again, these are actually going to be a little bit higher. We'll see if Baker maybe has the official ones here once he gets back, but it was initially based... Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so based off of... how many drivers we have? 46 drivers. 300 to first, 200 to second, 180 to third, 150 to fourth, 130 to fifth, and 130 to sixth.
Well, I'll tell you what, that is a lot of money. I would certainly like to be out there on a night like this. My goodness. And it seems like there's a lot of new guys. And when I say new guys, that can be a mix of guys that haven't raced here ever before or guys that we haven't seen in a while. And I feel like it's always kind of refreshing to see that every once in a while, Baker. It's good to have a mix. It makes the racing that much more interesting and exciting. And so far tonight, it has certainly been interesting.
Yeah, no question. It's great to see new names out here, especially in the top 20, top 25, in that front half of the field, making waves, making their name known, and smaller names that we know that don't finish in the money as often. Justin Mills, Danny Barnes. Danny Barnes had a couple good money spot finishes, but it'd be nice to see him getting a PGR podium spot. Logan York, another one that runs really well up front, doesn't have any teammates, but really knows how to get up front and execute. Chris Parkman, another name we haven't seen out here. Some other names you're not really seeing much of, but that John Mollahan, John Ward, Andrew Navarro are all going to kind of work together. You're going to keep your enemies close and until that last lap, because that these guys are going to have the pace to stay up front, and once that last lap comes, they're going to be able to fight it out to the end.
And it is going to be a crazy last lap tonight, to say the least. Thursday Night Heat Series, if you're interested, runs every Thursday. And I believe tonight, was a $20 entry. Didn't get official word on that, but I do believe it was indeed 20. And it ranges from 15 to 20, maybe 25 some weeks, unless it's a special event, of course. But a lot of money on the line. I mean, hey, you look at it this way. Let's say $20. You get first place tonight, and you led the most laps, $350. That is definitely making quite a bit of profit on what you put in. Next place that we had on Ghost Racing Network, by the way, is going to be Saturday night. Sonoma Truck Series Race 2, and going to be the last race in the round of 16 for the playoffs. We saw a good one last week. Make sure you don't miss out on this week. Michigan, and then, of course, this Saturday, going to head to Kansas. Excited for that one, but we got to wrap up what we got going on here first, and we have still got a lot of laps remaining, 14 to go, a long way around this 2.65 mile super speedway. And Danny Barnes in the 7 truck, noted having a great run right now. Can he keep himself in the money? Currently the last position that pays. This green flag is back in the air. It's a good jump for the inside line, but the outside going to hang pretty even. And already out back, looks like Michael Menchaca with some trouble. As thinking we had some sort of a checkup issue right here, and looks like he immediately is going to take it to the pits. As he actually spun down to pits is what happened. And so he'll get back rolling, get his blacks cleared, get back out on track, but that's going to cost him now. He'll need a caution. As we go back up front, 2x2, down the back straightaway. Outside line was not able to get enough of a surge to get clear. And further back, they are already going to start fanning out 3 wide to the top. Goes Chris Blanchard. He's getting a push now from Trevor Oswornoff. We'll see if Dustin Carruthers or Justin Mills decides to jump out there as well. But Mullahan still leading the bottom. Ward up top. Now the outside's going to start to fade a little bit. Into the trial. We're going to be coming to 12 laps to go here at the line. And as they start to get crazy, but before they get too crazy, a little crank it up at Talladega. Here we go. And that is going to conclude our segment for Crank It Up here tonight because things are getting crazy up front. 3 wide, Logan York looking to see if he can take the lead. Corset clear to the bottom. Danny Barnes trying to follow, but Steve knows if he drops low, that's going to give Logan a chance to do so as well. Stays up to block the middle. Now that's going to allow the inside to try to make charge, but continuing to fade. Looks like Danny, maybe he's got a shot at clear here. Do you think if he gets it, should he take it?
Oh, Logan York barely gets clear to
block.
Steve. Huge block. He's going to go to the bottom of the track. I think the middle is the right move for him. Nonetheless, he gets clear, and he's up front. Great push from that outside line. You're going to see a good push still come from that outside line. Ryan Bass, he's not going to give up till he blows up. You're going to come to 9 laps to go here, and I just don't know.
Big wreck. This one's going to collect the back half of the field as everybody else arrives on scene. Brock Westmoreland's in it. Looks like the 71 gets it back rolling on the bottom. That's Zach DeOst. And that'll bring out your 6th caution of the night. As that one happened right as they came across the start-finish line. It's going to start back here with the 27 of Justin Mills. And, oh, actually, I take that back. Starts with Jeff Merck getting out of shape right here. Almost an odd look. He's got Jason Maines behind him. Let's go to the chopper cam here, see if this gives us a little bit of a better insight. And, oh, it's a checkup. Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a checkup. But it was hard for me to really tell right there if Jeff got the push from Jason that got him sideways or if it was a net code between him and Dustin. See if we can play it a little slower. All right, and here we go. This is from the onboard here of Zach DeOst. Seeing if that doesn't really show us much. Can't tell who the contact was initially from right here. Taking a look at the right front. Does he ever touch Dustin? Oh, he does. That's what happens right there. We see a little bit of a checkup just before this. But now that we actually see that, that'll give us a little bit more to work with here now from the TV follow cam. So you see there's some contact between Merck and Dustin after the checkup. Merck gets into Dustin's left rear. That sends the 60 down the track into the 71 and the 27 of Justin Mills. And then once the 27 gets turned up from the bottom, going to collect everyone else. That is a lane above that. Cody Nagel, Sarah Clampert, all these guys with just nowhere to go. Sarah, she's trying to sneak by the bottom. Actually, I think she does. She's able to get by this mostly unscathed. As there you see Jeff Merck go for a slide. Ken McCall Jr. looks like he had nowhere to go in this one as well. And doesn't look like as many big hits for this one as just a lot of slides. Couple hits for a couple different guys. Jason Maines gets it back rolling. Ooh, Tony Cox looked like he got turned late in that wreck, but was able to keep it from hitting the inside wall. Take a look from the spotter view. And, oh, a couple big hits to the inside wall for a couple guys. The second pack this time, I think guys are starting to maybe figure it out a little bit. Ooh, as there was the contact. I think that was Rhett Tucker and Tony Cox who actually got together. Man, Tony, he was heading for that inside wall in a hurry. Did a great job of getting the truck turned back in the right direction. It certainly seems like guys starting to learn about checking up once the caution's out and avoiding getting themselves in any trouble. As it take one or two more views of this one here. Get one from the restart cam, as the flagman had a really, really good look at this one. And I talked about Sarah Clampert. We saw her dive to the inside. I think she had some contact initially right as the wreck kind of first happened. But after that little bit of contact right at the start, I think she gets through this without really any more. So here's the ride on the gyro view for Sarah Clampert. There's the wreck. She's going to dive low. Yeah, there's some slight contact in her right side door, but then she dives a couple lanes lower, and that was the right choice. So they actually wrecked up ahead. I didn't see that initially. That's Joey Duchette and David Sheets getting together. And that was in front of the main wreck, so you almost got to wonder if that big wreck didn't happen, would we have still had a caution from these two? As I want to go take a quick look at that. Again, that was David Sheets and Joey Duchette trying to find David here. And yeah, currently sits back at 44. This may have ended his night, in fact. And here you go. So they all start wrecking out back. And then, ooh. Yeah, I think if they didn't wreck out back there, we would have had our own incident just about a couple 100 feet later. Right there involving David Sheets and Joey Duchette. But nonetheless, as we go back live, this is going to put us at a restart with what looks like probably about 5 laps to go, assuming again that we get the one to go this time. It's Logan York out front. You know, he's got to be pretty amped up right now. John Ward back in second still. And again, has not really left the podium, at least not for any time that we've had a chance to talk about him. Nash Brambilla back in third. John Mullahan in fourth. Steve Korsak fifth. Ryan Baste in sixth. Danny Barnes at seventh. Dylan Jones eighth. Andrew Navarro in ninth. And it is going to be Trevor Oswernoth for KSR, currently rounding out your top 10. And that one looked like a little bit of a mess, Baker, but at the end of the day, mostly just a racing incident. Is that what the final word on that one was?
Yeah, it just looks like a checkup that happens. Carruthers about half a lane too high. Once that happens, Merck tries to stack up to let him in, and sorry, they're trying to choose lanes here. They should have announced before the line, but it's okay. But once that stack up happened, you know, Jason really didn't have anywhere to go. He's on the back bumper already, on the back bumper of Merck, and gets him a little bit sideways, and chaos ensues. And
I was going to see if we could pull up Logan York for a quick word, but I don't see him in any of the Discord channels. So unfortunately, Logan, if you're watching this back, make sure you're in one of the channels next time. Be seeing you at the front here quite a bit more. Be talking to you quite a bit more, as well as how cool would that be? You talk about an underdog win. If Logan York, no teammates, and tell you what, there's a lot of guys in here that maybe belittle him for a couple things here and there, but at the end of the day, the guy knows how to race. I mean, if you find yourself up here at the front in a PGR race, you're doing something right. So Logan York going to try to hold on here for 5 more laps. Now he's got to be really careful. I think if I'm this 01 truck right here, Baker, I'm going to play it safe and drop to the bottom as soon as I get clear. As if I don't, I'm a little concerned there that John Mullahan maybe splits the 01.
Yeah, I just think the bottom lane is going to be a lot stronger than the top lane here. And no offense to Mullahan, but Nash Brambilla is one of the best pushers that we've got in this service. And Ward's going to really hold a straight wheel. But look for this bottom lane to have a lot of momentum.
And just before we go green here for potentially the final time, I want to give a quick shout out. Appreciate everybody that's out here watching tonight. 28. Good to see that everybody's back out for Baker's return. John in the chat earlier. John Darnell. Looks like, hey, it's Dina. Kenneth Stamper, not racing but watching tonight. Heath Joe, Baker's mom. Kevin Nagels. Aubrey Thompson in here. Shirley Cox. Looks like Fred. Everybody in here tonight out watching, getting ready for this finish. And it is going to be a fun one. All right, here we go. Back into the Geico restart zone for 5 laps remaining here at Talladega. Green flag back in the air. Oh, we're wrecking out back. On the restart, we're not even going to make it to the start-finish line as caution is back out. And Harrison Whitehead, I think he actually gets through this. That's the 77, though, of Alex Hill. Came to a halt just after the start-finish. And so now we'll go to overtime. I think this is actually going to help Logan York's case, as the less laps that you got to be out in front. If you don't have teammates, the better. Let's go back and take a look at what brings out. I don't even know what number caution is here tonight. Certainly been quite a few, as Alex Hill was one of the first guys to go sideways in this one here. And so this starts in the back. The 27 of Justin Mills we saw involved in this as well. And it's going to be some. Ooh, big stack up on the outside here to start. So here you go. Look from the TV follow. Yeah, there's the stack up on the outside. Not sure what causes such this severe stack up, but now you got guys running into each other. But that's not. So even though you got a really bad stack up on the outside, and I mean, it was bad. J.R. Miller almost gets wrecked from it. There's the 27 piling in. Justin Mills gets into, looks like the 87, the second 87 that we had in the field here tonight. That's some more contact right there. But then the 24 of Daniel Diorio, who we saw with a chance to win this last week, he's going to get slammed into the back, it looks like. I think that's Ken McCall Jr. behind him. So check up on both lanes here. And actually, Ken's putting on the brakes pretty good, but another check up. And yeah, the 03 makes some contact. And that sends a 24 up into the outside wall. I mean, you got to wonder, how do we keep getting these checkups that are just so bad? But it's just depending on guys going pace speed. Some guys sag back, and then as soon as they pull up, they have to put on the brakes really hard. And when you have even a little checkup in the front, it can amplify to a big one out back here. And yeah, not really too much more to break down on that one. So as we go back live again, brings out your 7th caution of the night, and it is going to send us into our first of 3 overtimes if we were to need them. And so Logan York still holding on to the lead. Ward in 2nd, Mullahan in 3rd. And like I said, I think this is going to work out really good right here for Logan York, as he doesn't have any teammates and only having to lead. I say only, it's still going to be a challenge, but leading 2 laps is going to be a little bit easier than having to lead about 5 laps. So we'll see if he can hold on right here. All right, we are going to get geared up for the final restart, and until then, we're going to take one more commercial break. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Talladega. Can Logan York get his first win in the PGR Thursday Night Heat Series? Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Just got the 1-to-go signal, getting ready for hopefully the final restart of the night. And looks like we were able to find him courtesy here of Heath Job, and that is Logan York. Logan, this is Austin Baker up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you.
All right, well, you find yourself out front. Tell you what, a lot of money on the line tonight. It would be probably the best time to get your first win here in the Thursday Night Heat Series. How you feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm pretty nervous, but yeah, it's a big payday for sure. So just hopefully I can keep it up here.
We know as a driver, teammates are everything at super speedways. You don't really have any teammates around you right now, but you got a strong pusher in both lanes. How do you play this? Do you drop to the bottom if you get clear? Do you try to control lanes? What do you do?
Honestly, I think I'm just gonna try to get to the bottom and hold it there. I usually have bad luck when I'm up top, so let's try to do something different this time.
All right, well, we'll see if you can get a change of luck here tonight. 2 more laps. You could be calling yourself a PGR winner. Good luck. We'll see if we're talking to you here in a couple laps.
Thank you, Austin.
All right, so as we slide him back down, said he's nervous. Tell you what, I think he's got a good chance at this thing here, but we know that there's so much chaos all the time on the last lap, Baker. I mean, wouldn't be surprised if we see a big pileup on the white flag lap. And so I think that's a good choice by Logan to say, I'm going to go to the bottom. I think it gives you the best chance of survival. And a little bit of a trade-off is we know the outside has momentum, but with the track temp here tonight, I think maybe we see a winner from the bottom line.
Yeah, I do think you see a winner from the bottom line. The good news for Logan, though, his pace car is going to pull off here, is that you got Nash from Billow behind him and Steve Corsa. Steve's not going to be too keen to stay in that second line, but he will push to try and get Logan clear. That way he can control his destiny there.
Yes, certainly will, and he's going to be doing a lot of pushing right here. 3 trucks, you can do a little bit on the straightaways, not so much in the corners, but green flag in the air. 2 laps to go, overtime number 1 at Talladega. Logan York tried to get his first one. John Ward tried to add yet another one. So they go down into turn 1. Looks like the 92 is going to poke a nose out in front. Watch for that outside line to really surge down the back straightaway.
And that bottom line's still really moving. You got Ryan Bass third on that bottom line, really helping that surge on the bottom line. But you're going to see that top line really start to move. You've got Nash from Bill getting pushed by Steve Korsak. They got to stay hooked up here. The bottom's still going to roll. I can't believe the momentum they're still going to have going into this quarter. Logan going to really side drive. He gets a little sideways.
Yeah, Nash Bill pushing him with all he's got. Logan's going to learn right here that if you are at the front on overtime restart, you are going to be sideways. John Ward now starting to fade a little bit as the 0-2 almost gets clear the inside. Nothing doing yet. Now he does, and he's going to drop down to the bottom. Logan York out in front as we're coming to the white flag. It's going to be 1 lap to go. Can the 0-2 hold on?
There goes Navarro. He's getting a push from, oh man, Korsak's up to the top. They get a little squirrely there in one. The bottom really surging. Mullahan and Ward gonna stay tucked up.
All out of shape. Keep it going here, but man, the 92, sorry to cut you off, Big. Oh, he's going to turn Logan. Logan's around on the back straightaway, tried to block the run, couldn't do it. The 0-1's race comes to an end in a big fashion, but up front, the race is still on. Korsak Navarro get clear from the outside. They're going to jump to the bottom. Michael Triscaro looking to make a move. Where did Sierra Clamper come from? She's going to stay in the middle with the 34, looking to see if she can make a cash spot. No run yet for the third lane. Now Sierra's going to try her luck up top. Nobody going with the 23 yet. This could be a photo finish. Navarro on the bottom through the trial. They're going to all wreck out back. Navarro is going to win it in thrilling fashion. Oh my goodness. We got multiple trucks upside down, and I can't help but laugh at the finish. I heard Baker absolutely going crazy. Man, what a finish. Oh my goodness, the amount of stuff that we have to break down from that last lap. I don't know if I've seen something quite like that in a little while. Baker, you got any initial thoughts on that one?
Gosh, what a crazy race we just saw there. I just comical coming down the backstretch. And you see Logan get turned. I feel really bad for him. It looks like he just got pushed out of shape by Ward there, and then Ward got repaid the favor there, coming through the tri-oval. Dylan Jones up into him through the tri-oval, and the top 6 weren't even there coming down the backstretch. So it's something to break down for sure.
It certainly is. I'll tell you what, I don't think I've ever been trying not to laugh coming right to the finish there, but the amount of stuff going on, I agree. It was almost just comical the way certain things were going on. So let's back this up. I mean, on a serious note, what we saw in the backstretch, didn't want to see it here, but let's take a look at exactly what all goes on. So everybody kept it clean until the backstretch. That's where things are going to start to get out of whack. And, ooh, yeah, I mean, that's a tough break here. From the initial view, I thought that Logan York had moved up to block. Of course, we were running TV follow, so we can only see from the side angle. But now that we look from the chopper view, I mean, Logan's pretty much there. I mean, at that point, Logan is holding the straight wheel, and John's just kind of offset on him. And John doesn't really ever get back onset, and by staying there, it just turns Logan out of shape and then turns the 0-1 back down. Man, that is a really tough break for Logan. So close, and man, one of those guys that's been around for so long in the sense of it would have meant a lot to see him get his first win, but nonetheless, after that, they get it back together. Korsak Navarro jump to the bottom, and they're actually going to reorganize pretty well here. It looked like there was going to be a chance of this thing ending pretty clean. As you see Sierra Clamper come and get her way into the mix right here. And Michael Triscaro, she thought about taking it 3 wide, unfortunately didn't get any help. And then as we get into the travel right here, looks like Steve Korsak, John Ward, ooh, Dylan Jones, looks like got into Steve Korsak. A little bobble. I couldn't tell if he actually got a bad push right there or if there was a little something else to that. Let's back it up a little further. No, it looks like Dylan just trying to push really hard on the back bumper of John Ward. And, oh no, actually Dylan gets a little bit of net code off the left front of Michael Triscaro. That sends him into Steve Korsak. That sends Korsak down into John Ward. You see them all wrecking big out back, and now the wreck's on. You see Sierra Clamper. Oh, I thought she was going to sneak through there, maybe steal one of the final spots. Not quite able to as they wreck across the line, and Navarro able to bring it home relatively no contest. All right, so as we go back live, I think Navarro either didn't do any burnouts or has already just about wrapped him up for the night. So let's take a look at your finishing results. And, of course, we saw Andrew Navarro, your race winner here tonight. Bringing home pretty good second-place finish. Steve Korsak, he'll be getting a good payday. Kyler Wynn, third. Dylan Jones, fourth. Michael Triscaro in fifth. Thomas Parker, from a lap down early in the race, makes the comeback, takes the last money position. He finishes in sixth. It's going to be Brock Westmoreland back in seventh. Nash Brambilla in eighth. Mike Davenport ninth. Sierra Clamper didn't quite get the money, but certainly did a good job rounding out the top 10 here tonight. Good run for her. John Mullahan finishes back in 11th. It's going to be, looks like William Ransone finishing in 12th. John Ward 13th. Jeff Merck 14th. Joey Deschette in 15th. Zach DeAust in 16th. Chris Blanchard 17th. Trevor Osmanoff back in 18th. Rounding out the top 20, it's going to be Chris Parkman and Tony Cox. Dustin Carruthers 21st. Rhett Tucker 22nd. Cody Nagels 23rd. John Darnell finishes in 24th. Alex Hill 25th. Nathan Rogue 26th. Sean Corbett 27th with Michael Menchaca 28th. Ed Osborne 29th, and Zachary Lima rounding out your top 30. J.R. Miller 31st, Zach Tostovan in 32nd, Jason Maines 33rd. Mark Vondell finishes 34th with Danny Barnes in 35th. Justin Mills 36th, Ken McCall Jr. 37th. Danny Esserman 38th, Ron Morse Jr. 39th, and Logan York after that last lap wreck finishes 40th. Ryan Bass 41st. It's going to be Daniel DeOrio in 42nd, Devin Ray 43rd, Harrison Whitehead 44th. David Sheets back in 45th, and Christopher McCall rounds out the field tonight. He finishes up in 46th. And all right, on that note, we are going to go see if we can get your top 3 in for interviews. Stick with us. We'll be right back. All right, back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Going to start first with your third place finisher here tonight, Kyler Wynn. Kyler, this is Austin. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, you bring home third tonight. Good money spot, especially when we consider the fact that anytime we see you out here, we know you don't have any teammates to run with, but somehow you find a way. How did you get yourself onto the podium?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely interesting because I got E-oiled with 10 to go. I turned myself thinking I was clear on, I think, Zach Lima's nose and caused the wreck. Got a few people involved, so sorry to whoever was involved in that. But just played it patient, getting through the field. I was hoping I'd get lucky there. I was 15th on the white flag, so it was interesting. A lot of movement there on the last lap, and I just picked the right lane and got lucky, I guess.
Well, you go ahead, keep going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was going to finish 6th until that they all wrecked each other in front of me, so a lot of luck involved, as is usual with these races, but it was fun.
Well, I was going to say, we saw you sliding across the line sideways. Now, coming through the trial there, things get chaotic. You had a choice. It looked like maybe to think about splitting 3 wide or stay in line. How do you kind of make that decision coming down to the final stretch in a race like this?
Well, I mean, I wasn't in a money spot if I didn't do that move, so the hole was there and I took it. It's just part of it, I guess. Thankfully, there was room and I didn't cause a wreck. But it was good. I got lucky. Honestly, that's the only reason why I finished 3rd. I started with 10 to go, like in 40th, so pretty happy with 3rd.
Well, luck and skill, what it takes to get the job done at a track like Talladega. Before we let you head out tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, just my sponsors, Factory Setups, for bringing the truck. They bought a lot of speed today, Talladega.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to us. Congrats again on the third place finish, and hopefully we'll see you out here next week.
Yep, thank you.
All right. And now that's going to bring us to your second place finisher here tonight, Steve Korsak. Let's see how Steve's doing here tonight.
Hey, Steve. It's Matt Dawson in the booth. Got a copy?
Hey, got you guys. What's up?
Well, you guys are up front for, the better half of the front portion of the race. Talk me through how you got through that chaos there at the last lap and how you got yourself into that podium spot.
Yeah, the race was pretty tough. It was just really a battle of survival. And I was just able to avoid some pretty big wrecks by the skin of my teeth, and I was saving fuel. I didn't have to pit. So I was just able to maintain track position, and luckily that quick caution came out at the end, and it moved me from the inside to the outside, and I felt like that was the place I needed to be, and I saw Navarro coming with a run, so I hopped up there hoping he would stick with me, and he did, almost to the end. So, I got hooked in the tri-oval, and I turned the wheel back to counter it as hard as I could, and somehow I came across second. So sometimes it's good to get lucky, and I'll take it.
Absolutely. Well, we always say it's 30% skill and 70% luck here in these super speedway races, but nonetheless, you get the second place finish. Talk to me about the track temperature and how it affected the truck. It seemed like it was just a lot of 2-wide racing. Not much 3-wide could be done tonight. I don't know if it was maybe the strength of field that you guys had out there. You guys had mostly the same trucks running out there, but usually you see it 3-wide pretty instant. What was it like with that new track temp?
It was a little strange not seeing the third. It seemed like everyone was nervous to try it out. I wanted to go up there the whole race, but the team agreed to not go up there, so I just kind of got used to running the bottom too. But it's funny because I ended up going up there at the end to get where I got my finish at. So I don't know. I guess I wish more people tried it out, because I feel like it would have made for some great racing.
Well, it was still great racing to the end, and again, you get that second place finish. Great save there at the end. Anyone you want to shout out or thank?
Yeah, I just gotta give a shout out to the team and Dale Cup. Shout out to you guys in the booth. It's always fun to watch this back, and shout out to you on the race control. And it's just congratulations to Andrew. It was a good win, and yeah, I think that's it. Hope you guys have a good night. I'll see you next week.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us, Steve. Hopefully talk to you next week, buddy.
See you.
All right. And now that is going to bring us to your winner here tonight, Andrew Navarro on the 42. Andrew, you got a copy?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you get the job done. Not quite as stressful as it looked like it was going to be when we came into the tribal. You get it done by a couple truck lengths. But man, oh man, crazy race. You stayed up front for most of it. Was that part of the strategy?
Honestly, yeah, but also no, because it was actually pretty tight on fuel. So I don't think I would have made it if it went green from when I pitted last. And I was just kind of banking on 2 yellows, and it's just, I mean, it feels like you can't get back up there. So I just stayed out and basically winged it, and I ended up paying off because I think there was like 4 yellows from the time I pitted. So I had enough fuel for at least like 2 green white checkers, which is plenty. I was hoping that we wouldn't have to use all 3, but yeah, I had kind of stayed out front, and then on the last lap, everything just fell my way there. So that was incredibly lucky there.
Well, we see, obviously, you do a lot of the PGR races, but tonight, bigger payout than usual, $300. Does that kind of change the mindset going into it on the aggression level, or do you just kind of go into each race the same and hope it works out?
I just kind of go into every race the same, especially with the way that the payouts were today. I don't really care whether I win. I just want to cash, so I won't do anything stupid, basically. Because I think even if you finish like 5th, you're up $100 on the night. So it's it's one of those things risk versus reward. But when it was like right there in 3 and 4, and I saw Ward coming back, I was like, I'll just jump down to the bottom, and Ward's gonna have to push me because there was a middle lane, and ended up working out. So that was pretty fun.
All right, well, a good finish. A lot of money going home for the driver of the 42 tonight. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Platinum Performance, 7 Seas Events, Celebrity Cruises, Adrenaline Captures, Blading for the Paint Scheme. Me and Jason were working together today. That's about it. And you guys for broadcasting, and Michael for putting on the league.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to us one more time. Congratulations on the win tonight, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right. And that is just about going to wrap up our coverage here tonight at Talladega. Well, Baker, it was a crazy one. We saw cautions. We saw 3 wide, and we saw a big wreck to finish it all. But Andrew Navarro gets the win. And overall, I mean, for the payouts, that last lap did not disappoint.
No, absolutely. A couple unfortunate runnings there. Logan York running up front. The better half of that last portion of the race. Unfortunate to see him get turned there down the backstretch, but he had John Ward as also second place. I mean, he was no worse than the top 5 the entire race, but he got the most laps led. He gets the $50 for the most laps led bonus. So good on him, doubling his money there on this entry. But, a great race to come back to. I'm happy to be back up in the booth on these Thursdays, calling these races, in race controlling with, all my friends. And good to see everyone out here again. Hopefully you get back into the money racing, get back in the rig, and win some more money here.
All right. Well, that is officially going to wrap it up. Actually, it looks like in chat, Mr. Nice 88 having a little trash talk here. Gave us a $2 super chat, so of course we're gonna have to read what it says. It says Kyler Wynn wrecks like a rookie. Mr. Nice 88 having his opinion on it. I think that's either Lima or Steve. Not sure which one, but nonetheless, might have some beef next week. We appreciate the $2 super chat nonetheless. I hope you all did enjoy. Thank you all so much for coming out. We'll be back again next Thursday, and until then, have a good night.